off about 40,000 old people during the two lockdowns, or the various lockdowns. They've all gone now. We can't bring them back. But it is still happening. They are still culling off the elderly in care homes. And I just want to put it out there. Are we going to do anything about this? I mean, I can't even get justice for my mother. We can't find lawyers that want to take the cases. I'm one of the people that went to Andrew Bridgen's event in the House of Commons in June. I spoke there as well. And I think this is against human rights. Are we going to stop it? Can we stop it? So I'm just going to put that out there. I have one other point I want to raise. If anybody has any suggestions or what we can do about this, I'm with Jackie Devoy's group. There's 80 plus of us in that group, and we really need some help now.
Linda, it's Neil. This is a talk about revolution and an idea of the need for change, and the tone of your voice, really more than what you said, is so apposite and so necessary, and it's buried, it's enfolded within the idea of the need for change. Something that which has unfolded, that which we all saw happening over the last 2 or 3 years, was, all of us knew instinctively that it was wrong. So thank you so much for that contribution. And who is next? Thank you, Linda.
Can I just say one more thing? Is that possible, quickly?
Yes, of course.
The other thing I'm very aware of, and I don't know how many other people are aware of, there are constant chemtrails. They are spraying us with toxic chemicals. Now, I'm down in Brighton in the southeast, and daily you can see these planes spraying these toxic chemicals over us. They're trying to blot out the sun. Solar geoengineering. Again, who do we go to? We've got to stop this. They're poisoning us. They can't find enough ways to kill us. So now it's this chemical stuff that they're spraying everywhere. Has anybody else seen it?
Linda, these are all questions that are legitimate to be asked. We possibly, I'm sure you can understand, after within the context of this, it's so difficult to open up another whole wide subject of conversation, but which is absolutely potentially the subject for another conversation. But yes, we hear you, that you're right. These are questions that so many people are asking. So yes, thank you for that.
Right. Thank you very much for allowing me to say it anyway.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Craig Sweeney, are you ready? Is your mic off? Craig, still not there.
May I just add something to this?
Please, Thomas.
Look, it is always good to walk in the shoes of the adversary. A psychopath, if he's not suicidal, does not launch an untargeted bioweapon. So I don't think that this diffuse poisoning matters really very much. I mean, how did I know from the very start that this virus is not dangerous? Because if I was a psychologist or behaviorist, a psychopath who had to plan this whole thing, and I was not suicidal, I would of course not choose a dangerous virus, but I would choose a harmless or even no virus and inflate it with PR and PCR into a killer virus. So the virus is not a bioweapon. It is untargeted. It could kill themselves. The bioweapon, of course, are the jabs. They are targeted, and they can refuse the jabs. It is rather simple. So if you just walk in the shoes of the adversary, and you realize much better what's going on.
Thank you, Thomas. Right. Craig Sweeney, I don't know if you're still there, but your mic is still on mute. Should we, let's go to Linda C. at Sikavist. Unmute your mic. There we go, Linda.
Hello, thank you so much. First thing I want to say is I am so overwhelmingly happy to hear everybody in this space. You all have touched on so much that is so right. I'm overwhelmed. But I keep hearing people say over and over, what can we do about this? What can we do about this? So I wanted to say two things. I'm in the United States. We have, or a lot of us have, kind of united across the country because we are learning what we can do and what is working. And of all the groups and all the movements and all the everything, all that you all are talking about with the people that are controlling us and how our government has gotten controlled. The first thing, or one of the things that I think we need to do, and you all have kind of touched on this, I'm not sure about what they do in Switzerland or whatever system you said, but to me, I mean, our elections are completely antique. So to put somebody in there for whatever political position it is, and then leave them in there for 4 to 8 years for them to just continue doing, and us be basically, oh no, what can we do? You know, we need to immediately put our voices right back in government right now. And that could be done through polling. It could be done several ways. But we need to be able to get rid of these people as fast as we got them in there. The second thing that I want to tell you about is what we are doing here in the United States is, if people understand the Constitution, fundamental God-given rights are what our Constitution is about. Using the maxims of law, and this is so simple I can't even believe it. You would think, no, that couldn't possibly work. By using the maxims of law, referring to our Constitution, we actually write letters of demand to the very people that are in the wrong, the corrupt, whatever. It has an enclosed response time. There are penalties if they don't. Nobody anywhere, no attorney, no judge, no organization, not even the president, can remove your God-given rights. They do not have the authority. But they don't think we know that. By using this system, we have gotten so many wins, I can't even believe it. We've affected elective committees. We've gotten people removed. We've gotten children back to their parents taken by CPS. We've gotten people's homes back to them. It's just incredible. We just had a win in Wisconsin. We even got in on the Kerry Lake thing. A lot of the things are going to start happening when people understand that, geez, we really can do this. And when I hear everybody talk about what everybody's doing, I am so excited because this is something that is powerful. You know, we should be able to address our government. We should be able to write a letter of demand and demand these things immediately within a certain amount of time, or we remove them. Because the authority comes from us, like you all are saying. So I'm just tickled pink to be here. And I want to thank everybody that spoke. People, you all are mentioning the WEF, and it's just, I love it. The engineering that they have done, even the trans movement that we see now. Half of the country didn't wake up stupid and decide that, all the decades of biological science was no longer applicable. It was engineered, just like our schools. So when we hear about COP28, we have 80,000 people there that are going to get done with their check on society, and they're going to go back to their respective countries. And from Biden, it'll get handed all the way down to the school boards we see that sit there and look at us like we're the stupid ones, giving the people now permission to take kids away from parents that don't agree with their biology. So these letters of demand and using maximum remedies, that is something that everybody can do. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Linda. Right, Chris Littlewood next, please. Then Pierre Vernier Kirk, and then Unlock Care Homes. Let's go. We're going fast now.
Evening. How is everybody? Great spaces tonight. Some super ideas. I just wanted to talk about the main subject, which is revolution. Yeah, I don't think any of us want to see blood on the streets. My fear is, unless we find a way to change, radically change the political aspects of our society, that we will end up with blood on the streets. There is very little hope being presented to, I can only talk about Britain, the British population. You know, we see cost of living crisis, we see fuel crisis, we see mortgage crisis, interest rate crisis. You know, the world's a crisis, and it's set to instill fear so that we give away more and more of our freedoms. And I think enough people have had enough. Now, when I listen to Sean and Neil and a few other people, I respect their positions on trying to get a political party in that starts to give direct representation back to the people. I think that's a great idea. But I think one of the fundamental problems that we've got is that we're dissipating our objections to the amount of problems that are being thrown at us. You know, it's every day there's a new crisis, there's a new problem. So nobody can focus on what's really wrong. And the only time in the past that we've won against these people, when you take a look at poll tax riots or Brexit, some people agree, some people don't, or vaccine mandates or any of this, right? It's when we had a sole focus on one area, and irrespective of your political persuasion, you went, that's wrong. I'm going to fight against that because I want change in that area. And we also need to provide hope. You know, none of our political parties that we've voted who are meant to represent us are providing any type of hope for a better future for ourselves, for our families, our kids, or our grandkids. It's just worse doom and gloom. So you vote Conservative, it's going to be bad. You vote Labour, it's going to be even worse. Forget the Liberals, they're mad. This is not how political accountability is meant to be. We're meant to focus on small things that we can change and provide hope that that change will make individual lives better. And unless we do that and really start fighting battles and focusing on the battles that we win, then there is going to be blood on the streets. There's going to be chaos. That's my opinion anyway. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thanks, Chris. Thank
So,
you. Kat,
so on
I see Neil needs to speak because he needs to
yes,
go.
Neil wants to say goodbye because
Oh.
he has a commitment. So go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, everyone, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. These Twitter spaces are always revelatory to me because I just sit here and, as we all do, and listen to different voices from all over the place, and the level of engagement and the different points of view are so inspirational. I raised the topic. I spoke about it with Sean and with Kat and Laurence Fox and others. And I just, when I raised the idea of revolution, I don't mean pitchforks and torches. I just feel that there's an appetite for change. June Slater and others articulated better than I did the notion that the revolution's already started. another voice suggested that there was already the revolution had been imposed against us, and that it was a counter-revolution that was actually happening. I am just so pleased. I'm just so pleased that as many voices as I've heard have been able to take part so far. I know that this conversation is probably going to go on. I've long suspected that Sean Flanagan is actually triplets, and that it's because there's 3 of him that he is able to go on with some kind of battery that never runs flat. I think there are 2 more of him operating elsewhere in the world, also pushing Sean Flanagan business. They all have the same name. But that said, Sean Flanagan is an inspiration to me. Kat Lindley is an inspiration to me. Efrat Fenix is an inspiration to me, and so many other voices are inspirations to me. Delighted to hear this conversation, and I've got to go on and do something for one of my kids now. But I know that this conversation will carry on, and I will look forward to listening to the recording. Thank you, and we will all meet again. I will meet you again elsewhere on another occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. So, Dr. Pia Vanika from South Africa. Then we're going to have Unlock Care Homes, and then we will bring up Kat and I will bring up some other speakers. There's 18 of you requesting to speak now. We will try to get through everyone because we know it's an important space. So please make your key points, and let's move on as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Pierre. We can hear you.
Okay. I looked on Google. Everybody looks on Google. What is wrong with the world today? Population, climate. Those are the 2 biggest issues that's wrong with the world today. That's what they want us to believe. This is what this revolution is about. So they want to get us sick. They want to make us believe we are sick. As Dr. Thomas Binder said, Thomas, we have to talk. I also represent Freedom Alliance South Africa, that is running the court case in South Africa. On my profile, you'll find a link pinned to the top of my profile, where you can find the court papers and a link to the website of Freedom Alliance South Africa. Okay, so that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre, and well done for you and Herman and the team and what you're doing down there, which is going to help everyone everywhere. Thank you very much. Right, let's go Unlock Care Homes UK.
Hello, yes, my name's Amanda Hunter, and I'm the chair of the Social Care Cabinet Work Group at the Together Association that Alan Miller spoke about earlier. And I'm also founder of Unlock Care Homes, which campaigned against visiting restrictions during lockdown. And although I'd like to respond to some of the speakers, I'm aware of the time, so I'll keep it brief. Alan is right, we can win hearts and minds, and we can transcend the left-right divide that James Freeman spoke about. I also agree that the principles that we need to unite us are already there. As Alan says, these are freedom, democracy, and improved material conditions built on the back of a more dynamic economy.